Hello, everybody. This is Nasira, and I am the energy architect. Today we have with us Eva. Eva is she's one of the authors in the book Never Give Up, and the book is by Action Takers Publishing, headed by Linda Sunshine West and Sally Green. And Eva, thank you so much for being here today. I know that this is the second time I invited you to come over, and yeah, we'd like to hear more about your book.
Thank you so much for having me here again. It's absolutely an honor to be able to be here and talk to you again.
Thank you. Let me tell you something about Eva. So, Eva is a devoted follower of Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins and was privileged to meet Dr. Michael B. Beckwith, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and Doreen Virtue, where she was inspired by their teachings. Dr. W. Dyer quote remained with her through the years. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, Eva is a founder and CEO of Dynamic Mindset Coaching, where she helps to mentor, coach, and transform people's lives. Eva is one of the authors in Midlife Awakening, where 20 women share their inspiring stories of midlife transformation. This is her second book, in fact. She also hosts a weekly book study club, other events, and has created her own personal and business development programs. She loves seeing people become the better versions of themselves, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, and much, much more. Eva, thank you. That's quite an introduction.
Thank you.
You've done so much, and I'd like to congratulate you because I think you're back up as the #1 international bestseller again.
That's right. We are #1. We just reached the status again of #1 international bestseller, and it feels so good. It feels so amazing to be able to touch people's lives around the world. It's I've always wanted to do it when I was younger, and I'm like, I'm not sure how. And then years later, here I am doing what I've always wanted to do. So it's so nice. I didn't know it was gonna be the books. I mean, I wanted to write one, but it just wasn't coming. And and then you may meet the right people, and everything falls right into place. And then here I am sharing my stories.
I guess when it's time, isn't it? You just like take off from there. It's just like meant to happen. There is a time for everything. But those initially
divine timing, I call it divine timing, and universe time, as they say.
Yeah. And I think the struggles that we go through in the beginning actually help us to become much, much stronger people. In fact, the reason why we are the way we are today is because of everything that we faced earlier in our lives. And we can be so grateful for what we have today because we know the other side of what it was and how far we've come. And I know that your chapter also has something to do with that, and we would love to hear about it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I went into with this chapter. When I saw the title, Linda posted "Never Give Up," I'm like, yeah, I could definitely share something here. I mean, I'm originally from Europe, born and raised, and then I moved here when I was a teenager. I live now in Canada. And the struggle was real when I first came, because I came here without any English, maybe a couple words. That's it. And so coming here as a teenager, not having the support, no English, and just kind of like, trying to make it through was a big challenge for me back then. And it was like a roller coaster, actually. And I could honestly tell you the first 5 years, I know it's a long time, but literally it was like 5 years, I just went through this really intense emotional state where I was missing family back home. Then I had to learn English, which took almost 2 years just to get the grip of it, right? And then still have to go to school. My parents were trying their best, but they also had to learn English in order to succeed here. And so I kind of felt like I didn't want to bother them with the stuff that was going through my head, but at the same time, I was really struggling. And I talk about that in the book, how much it has affected me. And back then, we didn't study personal development, nor did I really know much about it. So it was I could almost say a battle in my head and everything that was going on. But I had to keep going. I still had to finish school. I still did sports, many things. I had many interests, and I still do. Anything from sports to arts to music. I was actually one of the best in music in the band at school. I won awards and stuff like that. But deep down, I wasn't really happy inside. I was, to be honest, miserable to a point where I was missing family back home. And not only that, I just wanted to go back and kind of like, why can't I just be where I was and continue? Like, why did I have to kind of get ripped away and be put here? As a teenager, you really don't understand all these things, even though you're like, well, it's for better life or this and that. But the emotions you go through and stuff like that, it takes time. So I was at a breaking point. I don't remember exactly the year, but I was at my breaking point. I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like, I was ready to take my life away. That's what I talk about in the book too. And then, through some time I went through that, and then I realized I couldn't just throw it away. I couldn't throw away this precious life, because I also grew up being Roman Catholic. So for us to commit the sin of taking our life, taking our life away is a major sin, right? So I was like, no, I just felt inside I couldn't do it. And then I gave that a rest. And that was my turning point. I talk about it again, how everything started shifting. I said, look, either I can continue being miserable, or I can start turning this thing around slowly. So in the best way I could, I started reading some personal development books. That's where throughout the years, I met Dr. Bernard Beckwith here in Edmonton. I met Dr. Wayne Dyer in Vancouver. These were my like first inspirational people I looked up to. And then slowly I started like, look, you got to accept what it is, move on with this, and do the best you can. And that's slowly how I started turning the gears, as they say. So unfortunately, it was a long process for me. Hey, but I made it. Like, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And it's so nice to see that we're able, no matter what's happened to us, we're able to get past that. And that's why I love this title, Never Give Up, because no matter what happens in your life, you can always move past that. There's people to help you. There's programs and things like that. So kind of in a nutshell, there you go. To the beginning of how my life was, where I was. Yeah.
So much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I have to tell you that this is what this podcast is all about. It's about speaking to people like you, and when people around out there actually know that there are other people like them who feel stuck at some point in their lives. When they see people like you, it gives them hope. And then they realize that this is like not permanent and there are ways to get out of it. It's just that people don't believe that they can do that. Getting stuck in that place of believing that I can't do anything more, and this is the end of the road. That's the point where some people do get stuck.
Yeah, and I find that it ultimately comes down to the decision. Like, do I want to be where I am, or am I ready for that change? You gotta that's like, I feel that was my first step. Am I done with this, or am I gonna continue And that's where the wheels, when you make that decision. Like there's this great article by Bob Proctor. He's my other mentor. He has this little article, it's called The Decision. And I encourage anybody to read it when and if you're not sure where to find it, reach out and we'll get it for you. But it is a perfect little article to read. And it's like, look, if you want to change whatever it is, make that first initial step, make that decision that, hey, I'm ready, I want to change. And you know what? It's funny because doors will just open for you when you make that decision. It's not easy, but believe me, it's worth it. It's worth it because you never know where life will lead you after that. There's so many avenues, but yeah, just never give up.
And sometimes you probably need to touch rock bottom, because then you know that, that's like the only way to go is up now.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Sometimes you have to see the contrast. I call it the contrast. Like it's like, how are you gonna know what you like when you like ice cream? If you don't taste it, how are you gonna know if you like it or not? I mean, that's a bad, example, but like sometimes you have to see that contrast. And it's like, look, do I want to continue doing this, or am I ready? Am I ready for more? And there's so much out there you can do. So much life has to offer. Like I look at it like there's abundance everywhere. Even in the midst of everything that's happening in the world, there's still abundance, there's still life, there's still so much to express. And I know people say, well, but yeah, there's but you can either look at it or I mean, you acknowledge it, yes, you have to be in awareness of what's happening, but then you choose which way you want to go after that. How you look at things will affect what you do in life. That's the bottom line. That's why I love that quote from Dr. Wayne Dyer. When you change the way you look at things, things change. And that is so true. And that's been my driving force for many years. I mean, aside from many other amazing quotes out there, this was one of them that kind of helped me get pushed through, yeah. And I am so grateful for being able to open up my awareness, and now I can pass it on to my daughter, and teach her and know that no matter what happens in her life, there's always a way out or a way through, however you want to call it, right? Things happen, and sometimes they're out of our reach, but it's how we take them in, how we get through the challenges, if you want to call it.
Yeah. But I truly believe that, like life happens to you. It happens like it happens to everyone. And whatever happened, happened. But what
Yeah.
you choose to be from this point on, like that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
And when you said that, it was that decision that you took that changed everything for you. That you took that, that complete U-turn with that one decision. I'm curious to know as to what was that spark that triggered this in you.
It was exactly what you said earlier, reaching that bottom. And then I got to the bottom. I was like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. Take my life away. Or, that was my rock bottom. Like, am I done? And I'm like, no, I can't be done. I have so much. There's so much. Like, why am I even, going there? That was my like realization. Like, no, like, and it's like, it's just when it's not your time to go, it's just either you get interrupted or something happens. And I just knew back then it wasn't I was meant to do more with my life. And after that, I've traveled the world. I did so many things, skydiving, traveling, zip lining, becoming #1 bestseller, having a beautiful daughter, going on amazing trips. Like, there's so many things to do. I'm like, why did I even think? Because I was missing home? Like, Sometimes, yeah, things can be hard, and you can see I'm emotional, but there's so much more to life, you know. Yeah, so that was my turning point back then, and thank God I didn't do it, because I would have missed out on so much more in life. Yeah.
And just think at how far you've come. You've come such a long way, and you kind of almost rebuilt yourself from scratch,
Yeah,
you
you could
know,
say
and look at the way you have built yourself, because you have from that point on kind of decided to design your life in a way that's resonating with you authentically.
yeah. Because not only that, but it's like, okay, yeah, I was like at a point where this was it, but then it's like, wow, but you can do so much more, like with everything, like even World Vision, I went on a trip with them, and actually that was one of the first times I realized this. I want to help people like down the road, not just like sharing my stories, but like I want to go out there, um travel and build community, like help with in communities, like in El Salvador when I went with World Vision Canada. That was one of the most amazing experiences I've had, and just think of all the things you can do. So when you get out of that, oh, me, oh, I'm not happy mode, because basically that's what happened, and you look at the through different eyes, look at the world from different eyes, it's just endless of possibilities. And I don't know. It's just sometimes speechless to what we can do and how much we can go if we actually let ourselves, like there's so much out there. So yeah, never give up, as I say again and again.
I'd like to bring your attention to something that we were discussing a little earlier, and that was about how important acceptance is um, in overcoming everything that you could have, faced. So, what was, what did you need to accept, and how did you, from that point on, proceed?
Um, so in one way, what I can say is sometimes things happen that are out of our control. For example, like my parents packing up and coming here, that I had no say in it per se, right? I just went where my parents went. So that was as much as it was uncomfortable, it had to become an acceptance that that's what it is right now. For example, like same people, athletes, they get hurt, right? And now they're in a, for example, wheelchair. Well, yeah, it sucks, right? To be blunt here, but you have to now accept that this is now you in the wheelchair. Okay, it's like you went from here to now being here. You have to accept, but then you can't shut down. You're accepting it and then turning it around. It's like, okay, where I am now. How can I make the best of it? So that's how I kind of look at the situation now. Say like people, we had some people the other day I met that are from Yellow now, where the wildfires are going on, and now they had to evacuate, and they came now to Edmonton, and they're like, oh, okay, so you're here as a, yeah, or they could shut down, be like, oh my God, everything's lost. Well, you can't help it. You can just move forward from it. You accept where you are now and get past where you are, and then try to make the best of the situation and move forward. I mean, um that's how I look at a lot of things right now. When something happens, I'm not sure if I want to be here. Well, it's like it is what it is now. It's happened. Now what's the best solution to move out of this? Do I go this way? Do I usually, what I do now, I meditate on it. I look within. A lot of times before I looked outside sources, or on the external. Now I focus on the internal more. Who I am, where do I want to go, how do I feel about, like, a lot of it is inside work right now, and it has been over the last 2 years 3 years almost when I really stepped into personal development. And that's how you grow. You stop looking for the circumstances around you. You focus more on the inside of you, where you want to go, what you want to do now. That's the best solution I see, because only you can control what's happening, on the inside. Only you know how you feel, and the best way to get through the situation. So that's the acceptance of, yes, this is what it is. How do I get past this? That's how I look at things from now on. Instead of, shutting down, it's like, oh, okay, that's it. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see where you're going, because I think as long as we are in denial, we just never deal with the situation. We think that we could like get rid of it, sweep it under the mat, turn our faces to the other side, whatever it is. But unless you look it in the eye and say, yes, this is the way it is.
And I know there's different things happening out there, from somebody dying that's close to you, or whatever, or something happens to you. I mean, there's 101 situations out there. And yeah, you have to like go through the stages. I'm not saying you don't, but there's a way of going through them, coping with them, acknowledging, accepting them, and stuff like that. There's many things nowadays to read up on that, so we don't have to be stuck in a bubble, as I call it. Yeah.
And that process also involves so much of anger and frustration, hate, all these emotions that come up. But I think that is part of the process.
It is, definitely it is. I don't deny it. I went through that roller coaster a long time ago. That doesn't mean things don't happen now. It still do. I have a toddler. Things happen, and now it's like, okay, take time, breathe. How do I kind of give myself steps to work through it. And then it's so much easier. And I notice now things happen, but I'm able to process them much better, faster, better solutions, things like that. And I'm so happy because I'm able to help my students and my clients with whatever they're going through as well. So it's just spirals like a ripple effect. Like I was where I was, and now I can help people get through similar challenges and stuff like that. So it's a blessing now to be able to not only share my story, but help others get through whatever they're going through in their life.
So, Eva, I'm curious to know what's next for you. You have something more coming up.
I have a third book coming. It's called actually The Ripple Effect. So after the storm, now there comes the it's a ripple effect, how we change, how we are the light in the ripple effect. There's Kathy and I are doing a book together, and we're actually looking for authors to share their stories. So it continues, sharing and inspiring people continues, and it's like an addiction now. Once you start, you can't stop. So not only my coaching, but I'm also got into the doing the collaboration books. So right now, that's what I'm doing. What's next? I don't even know. It just keeps coming, and it just keeps getting better and better.
There's no stopping you, because like you said, it is the ripple effect, isn't it?
Exactly.
And now you go out and you inspire other people and help them to get over. You recognize that in other people because you've been there, you've seen that, and you know what it takes.
That's right.
They probably can't see it, but you do. You can see it, and you recognize that. That's also because of a lot of reflection that you do, because you're very tuned in with yourself.
That's right. You have to be. You have to be. That's one of the keys. Yeah.
many people live their entire lives. Um, there is, they can't correlate and why this happened or what caused that. And I think reflection is such a huge tool that people don't really recognize.
That's right. And you know what? We can't always control everything, but we can definitely work on things and get through things, you know. And some things we'll never know.
Yeah.
There's some things you just won't know why it happened. You just don't know. It's just you reflect, you move on, you know, and that's pretty much it. But we are here to help each other grow, and that's my biggest thing. Like we'll help. I'm here to help anybody who's you know, ready to step up and live your best life, because everybody can, you know, there's just no end to it. Life is amazing, and we have to it's a gift, you know, and we have to honor it and just keep going. Yeah.
Eva, you have a gift for people who buy the book, and would you like to speak about that?
At the moment, I can offer a PDF version of my gratitude journal, which is 1 year gratitude journal with Napoleon Hill quotes in it. But for that, at the moment, they'll have to contact me to send them a free copy if they like. And contact me on Tree Link. Sure, we can post something in the comments
Yeah, yeah.
in the
I will
description.
be posting the
Yeah.
details of how we
And
can
of
contact you.
course, yeah, and of course, I offer a free discovery call with me if you like to learn more about me, my books, or coaching or anything. Just talk. I'm also there. I offer a free coaching call, and I can also post a Calendly link to book a call with me. So for sure, I'm there. I'm there, out there, you know, sharing.
Eva, your story is definitely inspiring, and I hope it gives hope to a lot of people out there who are at that point where they feel that they're trapped or there's no way out, or they don't have support. If they feel that it's a dead end, I think your story would really be an inspiration for, and it would really give them hope.
I sure hope so. If not, you know, if not my story, there's many more stories out there in this book. So feel free to there, it's actually on Amazon right now. You can buy a copy or Kindle version. You know, if my story doesn't touch you, I'm sure other stories do. There's these women are incredible that I work with now, and there's so many stories out there. And it's just, you know, reaching out and talking to people. You never know who's gonna inspire you. It could
Yeah.
be you, it could be another person. It's just whoever resonates with you, that's all I say. But we're all here to inspire each other. Yeah, like Nasira inspires me to share my stories more and more. I inspire somebody to do something else. It's just a ripple effect, you know.
Yeah. And then we have to also be open and receptive. That's a
That's right.
key point. Eva,
Exactly.
thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you here again. And
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast. And it's so much fun to be here and share these insights together.
yeah, I love talking to you. And I'm going to call you back again for the third book, your third international best.
That's right. Yeah, just we'll just
Yeah.
keep going. Thank you so much, and it's been a amazing opportunity to be here. Thank you so much, Nasir.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me your time and speaking about this chapter.
You're welcome. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Take care. Thank you, everybody. This is Nasira signing off as the Energy Architect.